Welcome to Cars Without Limits and welcome to our very first podcast. We're here with Marlon Shaw, the founder. We're here with Real ABZ and myself, Indujan, and today we're going to have a quick conversation about some of the cars that we're most excited for in 2023.
Yes.
So, Marlon, you tell me, what are you excited for?
Honestly, the new GTR.
The new GTR?
Ye-
Really?
Yes.
That's what you're excited for?
Yes.
I don't think a lot of people are excited for that.
No.
Tell me more about it. What you got? Why are you so
Oh
excited?
man, honestly, it just I won't say okay. Let's change that back a little bit. I'm not really too excited for it. I'm happy the car gets to live for another year.
Right.
What I mean by that is it's going in its 14th year of production, 14 or 15 years of the production, and they literally didn't do anything with it. It's like literally the same car that they've been producing for the last 14, 15 years, but I think they did it for a reason. I honestly think they did it for a reason to bring back to help bring revenue back to the company, to maybe buy them some time to prepare them for the R36 to come out, whenever that will be. And I just think it's something more deeper than just bringing the car back. When a few months ago, when they literally just say, hey, we're done, no more GTRs. Everybody got their last GTRs, and the GTR price went up to $500,000 to $600,000 depending on the spec of the car. And now we're back a few months later, and we're having a 2024 Nissan GTR.
Right.
So,
But you know what?
I haven't seen the car yet.
no?
No.
Actually, maybe we can get some pictures.
But yeah, we could run some pictures. But you know what? I'm scared to see it. I just feel like it's just another Sentra.
Honestly, yes. In other words, like if you remember when the GTR first came out in like 2009.
First gen was 9? 9 or 8?
Yeah,
I think it was 9.
Yeah.
Nine.
The CBA, if I'm not mistaken, they pretty much got that car and modernized it. So it looks exactly the same. You can see if there's simulations, sorry, you can see those.
So it's just a minor facelift.
They got new bumpers.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much that's it. It's
And in
like,
terms of performance, what do we got?
we still got the same ports, same
Same
3.8 liter engine, producing 562 horsepower.
Jeez.
We have the Nismo that
Yes.
produces a little bit more, 592 horsepower, so which is cool. But realistically, it's just the same car. They haven't really done anything too crazy to it.
Right.
Nothing to be like, oh my gosh, this is insane. It's just more of like, why are they doing it again?
Right.
Why can't we just give it a final resting pace?
Yeah.
Prepare themselves for the new GTR to come out eventually within the next, hopefully, 5 years. Who knows? It could be a lot of things.
Of course. Yeah.
But it makes me wonder though, because for the GTR, when it came out in 2009, a lot of buzz over that car,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
It came from the R32, 33, 34. Now you got the R35 GTR. Wow, so popular, so cool. But dude, it's 2023 now. Like, do you think they still have the connection with the fans that love the GTR for what it was, or do you think they missed that boat?
Honest to God, to make a wow factor with those cars, you just need an exhaust system on it. There's exhaust system and downpipes.
Well, I think at one point the GTR was a bang for the buck.
100%.
Yeah.
Right?
It
It was.
entry-level
People used to say,
supercar.
you got 100K, buy this car.
No, but then that the 2009s, if I'm not mistaken, were priced in around the late 60s and early.
That's
70s,
what I mean. You got 100K, right? So you
And-
walk off the lot paying 100K for a car.
But this car is starting at 114
Right.
for the base model.
Right.
There's 8 different levels of it,
Yeah.
and we're going all the way to 215,000 for the Nismo.
Right.
So it's just like it's kind of like a money tree for Nissan. I imagine they probably lost sales from that period when the GTR was out of production, because it is their flagship vehicle. They have nothing else that's other than the new Z.
Yeah.
But the
How's
new
that
Z,
doing?
I don't know.
Really?
I don't
I
think
haven't seen many on the road.
Well,
yet.
actually, I think I just saw some news where I think it got a new facelift. I think
The
at
Z.
first they had, yeah. So
Is
the
it
Z
ready?
had- already, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's a facelift or they have a new design. We put some images so that people can see. When the Z first got announced, it had like one section to the bumper, but now it's been split into
Oh
two,
yes,
two sections now.
yes, I remember that. Yeah.
So I'm not sure if it's an actual official facelift or if they just tweaked the design. But I want to go back for a second. Did you say that there was going to be 7 types of GTRs?
7
Like trims?
yes.
Because I remember back then, like 2009 GTR, there was a regular
Two.
one. There was like the black edition, and there was like a track edition, and then there was a Nismo, which was like 4. Now they're bringing out 7.
So we have the pure, which is probably the basic, black, premium T,
Premium, yeah.
the track by Nismo, and a T spec as a few of the different variations.
You want-
So it sounds like
Everybody gets a different spoiler.
It sounds like if they're going to the direction of like Chrysler with the different variations of the stuff.
Don't say Chrysler.
I'm gonna have to say. Okay, sorry. Dodge.
Don't say Dodge. But it has to. So are any of these trims numbered? Are they releasing like a number of Nissan 500?
I don't think. I think it's mass production. Whatever's ordered, bringing things. So it's gonna be something.
Honestly, that was the biggest downfall to the initial launch of the R35, was that they made so many, man. Every rich kid, middle class kid, their dads were buying them, and over time they just ruined them. They were just launching them left, right, and center. Third gears were blowing. Then they had to come out in 2011 and put that into the clause of the warranty that if you launch, the warranty's voided because the transmission couldn't keep up with the torque, right? So I don't know, man. I don't know. I hope they end up in a good direction. I honestly, the R33, 4, 5. Just love the whole platform. It's just such a legendary platform, you know.
100%.
And it shouldn't die out like this. Like
No,
I hope it goes in the right direction eventually.
So
right.
The first Skyline came out in the first Nissan Skyline GTR came out in '89.
Right.
Then it finished up into '94. '95, the R33 came out. Finished up in '98, and then was it '98 or '97? I can't remember. You guys let me know. And the last gen, the R34, was from '99 to 2002.
Right.
That span was only 13 years for 3 production cars.
Yeah.
And Nissan has took the R35 for 14 years straight production, and not have facelifts here and there, but we need a new car.
Yeah, dude.
We need a new car.
For sure.
Like, the car is cool. I love my GTR. I barely drive it, but I love it. But we need some more wow factors. The competitors for the GTRs back in the day, it's like everybody has grown up. The car that used to go back in 2009, those cars that used to go against it have grown up in evolution. Give me a word for something like that.
I don't think I might disagree with you on that, because I think the Supra was a flop.
Right. The Z was
I wasn't talking about the Supra, right?
No, I'm saying that you're saying the cars that the R.
From 2009, there's some different cars. So we have, So
they've developed a bit.
Like, for instance, the Mustang GT500.
Right.
Like, those have changed dramatically since then.
Right.
All the cars,
Yeah, that's true.
what cars?
Yeah.
What Ferrari?
Ford Performance has nothing else to do, bro.
Yeah,
putting out superchargers.
Because that was like when that car came out, it was a supercar killer. It was a killer.
It was, man.
We're
you got a
Lambo,
you eat them with the
Gallardo, the 430.
Yeah. You used to run them for their money.
The Turbo T. Well, the Turbo, not even Turbo. That was probably the one where you could probably give it a quick money, but. I don't really want to talk more of the GTR because there's really nothing else to talk about it. So I think we should just.
Cool.
I mean, that's coming from a GTR owner.
So it's weird because you said you were excited about the launch, but then we all just bashed it up. So I mean, I'm excited to see them on the road, nevertheless.
Yeah, 100%.
Hopefully they get a good departure to the end of this generation.
It could be, we have to see what happens in the future. Hopefully somebody gets some leak pics from Japan of this car being, because they're 100% it's in production.
Right.
R36 is in production.
Right.
It's just a matter of time of how we're going to see it, how it's going to sound.
Yeah.
And
It's gonna sound the same,
What
just
do you
like
got?
every other.
What about you, big guy? What do you
Me, you guys know my favorite car is R8, so I'm excited for the R8 GT, and of course this is the last R8 that they're producing.
Mm-hmm.
R8's not going to be an R8 anymore. They're getting rid of the V10, and it's going to be an electric car. Right?
Oh, man.
So think about this R8 for a second. The R8 was first introduced in 2006.
Right.
So it's been about 17 years of this car, R8.
Wow.
It has existed.
And it aged very well for those 17 years.
Honestly, a couple of good facelifts.
Right?
Yeah.
Very clean.
They've kept it alive.
The Germans definitely know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm excited for. The R8 GT, again, the final one.
Yeah.
They've made it a more not really a track focus, but a more power oriented R8.
Yeah.
Redid the front lip, redid the back, redid the spoiler, everything.
Right.
And so it looks great, but I want to see it on the road. I want to see. It's gonna be sad, I've seen every R8, first gen, second gen, facelift, you name it, right? Decennium.
Right.
And so it's gonna be sad, but. See that final car.
So what are we looking at in terms of performance? Any changes?
So it's a naturally aspirated V10 engine.
Right.
We're looking at 620 horsepower.
Ooh, that's nice.
So 620
Nice.
horsepower. It's a rear-wheel drive car.
Jeez.
Oh my gosh.
So it's not quattro.
But why wouldn't they
Why?
Yeah.
So they have this new system, their torque system in the rear-wheel drive.
Yeah.
So it has to do with their stability, right? So the driver now can pick between 7 different modes as to how much stability they want in the rear-wheel drive. So you kind of control how much fun you want to have with the car.
Right.
I mean, we all know the R8 was a great platform. It was very controlled. It was easy to drive.
One of my favorites.
But now you get the
honestly,
choice of how much fun you want to have.
That's why I want to put. Usually, a GTR owner will the next car you go to
is
an R8.
Is an R8,
or Porsche. One of the two. So great cars, man.
And one thing that I want to see is I want to see the Spider version of it. So the last R8 GT, 2012 R8 GT, the first R8 GT, again 333 units.
Yeah.
Same thing with the new one, 333 units. But out of that 333, 50 of those were actually Spiders.
Right.
In the 2012 gen. But I'm not sure. They haven't really said anything about the new gen. It'd be interesting to see how it looks in the convertible version, especially the new one, because it's now got a swan neck spoiler.
Right.
That's kind of in, right? You see it on the Porsches, you see it on a lot of cars. The swan neck spoiler, it's in now.
Yeah.
So I think it might look cool to see on our Spider platform.
Right.
But I'm excited.
I'm a coupe guy, so yeah, I mean the Spider's all you, but yeah, very exciting.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to see.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Is this the end of the line for the R8? Is that what
end
we're doing?
of the line,
That's it, eh?
final boot, send off.
That's pretty sad. That makes me sad.
Yeah, but you know
that sound of that V10 is just gonna be so sad. It's
so here's my little thing though. Here's my little thing, because the R8 Decennium that came out a couple years ago was a fantastic car.
Yeah.
It's the same.
Great looking car, great specs.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And you know what it was? Take this in. So that car was only 222. It's more rare than the Audi R8 GT.
Right.
333 to 222.
Right.
And you know what? Check this out. Same amount of power. Same horsepower.
Wasn't the generation before 333?
That's right.
So I mean, they're still sticking inside their boundaries.
Yeah.
But now you look at it from a value perspective, right? If you want to get an R8 that holds the most value, do you think it's going to be the GTs, or do you think it's going to be the one that's less produced, the limited Decennium?
It's a new one manual.
No, it's automatic. The Decennium was also.
So the 2012 one.
They offered manual transmission.
There you go, right there.
Yeah.
2012.
I think we're all. That's a good answer because we're all seeing it now.
So we know for a fact that a couple of years back, it was kind of given that the Gallardo gated Spider and the R8 gated V10 Spider, that generation, the first generation, are automatic classics.
100%.
That's a fact.
100%.
Right? It's not even about aging. It's just like, the sound, the clutch, the gated gearbox. Like, they were perfect cars.
Everything was a checkbox.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, literally. Everything. You enjoy your summers, you enjoy your winters. Drive it, man. It's quattro,
Yeah.
So it's cool. Yeah, no, that's crazy, man. So end of the line for the R8.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Is there anything replacing it, or just?
It's gonna be an electric car, dude. So
like,
by R8.
Is that they've already said that?
Yeah, they're gonna focus all their efforts into now making an electric vehicle. So their top of the line sports car is gonna be. I'm not sure if it's going to be their flagship vehicle is going to be an electric car.
Right.
Now I'm not sure if it's going to follow something like the RS e-tron GT, which is a 4-door, kind of like a RS7 type car.
Like that car. It kind of reminds me of like a stretched out 4-door R8.
Kind of does, yeah.
Yeah.
Just take out the doors and call it a day.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe they might still have like the same
hybrid.
same profile, but just completely get rid of the combustion engine and just do electric, right?
We will find out hopefully. Next few years.
Yourself?
You know what?
Yeah,
I'm gonna stick in Germany as well. Right. Okay. So we're gonna stick to a German brand. But it's honestly
I like Germans.
It's one brand that probably, in my opinion, when it comes to every year, every generation, they set the bar for other sports cars and technology. Right, like they're like the Drizzy Drake of the industry, right? Every time
that's a huge claim.
Every time he's dropping a song, the other artists are just sitting there looking at their iTunes, like, oh my God, something's about to happen.
I get what you're saying,
right? But you feel me on that, because the car that I'm talking about is possibly the best drop of 2022, and I can't wait to see them on the road. It's a 992 Porsche 911 GT3 RS, right? The car that comes with that massive wing. Now, honestly,
I think you pay for the wing and you get a car.
Yeah, you get a car with the wing. But imagine this time we've gotten Porsche went into this project with a race to road philosophy, right? In other words, bring a race car and slap a license plate on it, right? We know that when that car was dropped, people were like, "Holy shit, bro! It's got DRS, right? Biggest thing, DRS on a plated car, right?" But there's more to it. There are a couple of weird things about this car, being the numbers. If you look at the car on paper, it doesn't do well. Like for myself, it doesn't. Like let me get you guys some stats on the car. We have the same motor as the 992 GT3, right? So it's the flat 6, 4 liter NA, but it's got cams, upgraded cams, so it's doing about 15 horsepower more only, right?
On an entire RS model.
0 to 62 miles an hour in 3.2 seconds, which is the same as the previous gen. So the 991.2 GT3 RS did the same time, right? Top speed, less than a GT3 992. Top speed, less than 992. So 992 GT3 will cross 200 miles an hour. The 3RS will do 184 top speed.
Wow.
Hold on. It gets worse on paper.
Oh my gosh.
On paper, right? 7-speed PDK.
Do you think they did this on purpose?
No, I'll tell you how it goes, right? So it's like a roller coaster ride. So you see this car, you'll see it on paper, you're gonna be like, oh my god. But then when you read more about it, it changes the whole thing. Because the car, it's got trickery, it's got aerodynamics, and that's kind of their main focus. It wasn't about power anymore. It was about setting a time, right? And how do you do that? You keep it light, you keep what you got, you keep the resources, you already built the flat 6, you slap it in, you do a few upgrades, get a little bit of power out of it, but the rest of it was all done by that huge wing and all those vents at the front. A lot of changes to the car. Price tag, 295 Canadian starting. I doubt it's going to be that. I think it's going to double. The second the first one lands, they're going to cross 6.
100%.
Right? Easy because GT3s are now crossing 4. Right?
Yeah.
And last summer there were some that sold for 430 for used GT3s driven. Right?
Yeah.
Car not even brand new.
For
right?
car
And not even top spec either. Just
Not
like
even top spec. Yeah. Anything that was landing, these guys were flipping. So I think 3RS. I mean, I'm really hoping.
Maybe the 3RS will go the same price range as the current price of the GT2 RSs when they were like 600,
first, which was 600K.
600, 700K. Because look at the Black Series.
Exactly.
That's 700,000, 800,000.
Yeah. I mean, I hope Porsche, like Ferrari or some of the other brands, makes these buyers, because they're so limited, right? I think only 3 or 5 per dealership are going to be coming over the span of the year, right? So I really hope that Porsche makes them sign a year contract where they can't flip or they can't sell, because that's where it all becomes a mess. Happened with the G-Wagons, happened with everything, right? So the price is not bad, right? $295. It does have you have the option of a WiSec pack, right? So obviously more carbon bits, this and that, better trim. Now, I want to go into something a little bit more than just those numbers. I want to go into downforce, right? So when you look at a wing like that, it's a 2-plane wing. So I'll upload some pictures. But if you look at the wing, it's got 2 wings.
Yeah.
The top flap is your DRS. You can see it close, and it also acts as an air brake, right? So it helps your carbon ceramics by pulling up, right? So it's very active, very intelligent. But dude, this thing produces 850 kilograms of downforce at 180 miles. That's a full-grown female giraffe. No, hold on. That's a full-grown female giraffe or a bison. It's more than the McLaren Senna. It's 3 times more as the GT3.
So
it's twice as much as its 991.2 GT3 RS. And are you guys ready for this?
Oh, there it is.
It produces nearly, just a little bit off, as the same downforce as the 911 LeMans car. So they've literally taken the LeMans car and given it to you with plates.
So if I'm thinking about this right, the GT2 RS is going to be something that's probably the same concept, more power.
Dude, word on the street is that it might be, we're going to see the first little bit of electric into the Porsche 911 platform.
With the 992 RS?
With the 2RS. There's stuff going around where they might be having dual motors at the front to help it and make it all-wheel drive, because the 99, the previous generation of the 2RS, drivers had a hard time, man. It was a great car, but it was a real car. And it was a handful.
Yeah.
People have driven
a lot of power.
That car was a handful. It was just straight power.
The GT2 has always been called the Black Widows.
Yeah, it's a solid car. But I'm gonna so that's the car that I'm excited for.
Okay.
And those are the reasons I'm excited for it, because we're gonna get to see a track car on the road. But there's even more that they've changed on it. So I mean, usually, and going back to downforce, because as you can see by the looks, that's all it did, right? They went after downforce. You have canards, you have slits, you have openings, you have
fins. You see the front.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what that front's for. And here's something really crazy, because when I started, I didn't know. I thought, I mean, obviously it's not for styling, because Porsche does nothing for styling, right? but what it is so your standard 911 for the longest time, and I might be wrong on this, but for quite some time has had 3 radiators. For the first time in a while, now we got a single mount radiator. Radiator is mounted at the front, so you have single, which means it opened up the bumpers. So there's no more radiators. You know, you look at Porsche 911, you can see the 2 radiators on the vents. Yeah. No more. So now we have flaps. And what are these flaps doing? They're channeling the air depending on where they need it. They're active, constantly moving. You can see them. You can see them moving inside the car. They're channeling air, and that hole in the hood, the 2 holes, inside the hole there are fins, 3 or 4 fins. You can see them in the design. It looks crazy, right? Those are splitting the hot air. So the main thing that they went for was to split the hot air from the cold air. So it splits the hot air around the car. And if you look closely onto the roof of the car, there are fins on the roof. They're curved out fins. And what those fins do is they stop the hot air from coming back into the back end. And it channels the cold air over the car into the intake. So those two. So
this car is more about functionality.
It's literally all about functionality, dude. So it lost, like I said, it lost points in practicality because there's no more boot for your shopping. There's a radiator there. So that's where it lost points. Because if you look at Top Gear, everybody who went through the car, who's driven the car, it was 5, reliability, everything, whatever they went through. And then it came down to practicality, and they gave it a 3-star or 2-star. Because it wasn't practical anymore. It's got a roll cage. The older one, you could still go out. You take the wife out, you could take her shopping, you pop the drop your shop stuff in there.
But is there a reason they went this route?
Honestly, it's just that race to road.
Because we have the GT3,
right?
Which is like your daily supercar,
right?
Right.
Well, I mean, I think that's probably why, because the GT3 did so well for them. I assume that they were like,
because let's build this race car. The previous generation, was there any upgrades other than the exterior look of the car? Was there any power upgrades or anything like that?
Well, from the previous one, so we still do. So from the 991.2.
Yeah.
Honestly, so it does the same 0 to 60, like I said, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. The thing is that Porsche usually, when they bring out an RS car, and history has shown this, that Porsche undersells the performance.
Yeah, that's why I said
they always undersell the numbers.
That's why I said, are they doing it on purpose?
Right. So they'll undersell it. Now, other journalists and people who've driven the car have stated that on a good day, it can do 0 to 62 miles an hour in 2.9 seconds, late 2s. Now, 0.12 seconds in the car world means a lot, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm really hoping that's the case. I'm really hoping that this thing comes out. Now, it's not the track record at the Nürburgring. I will post up the time, but it's obviously the Mercedes Project One set the lap record at the Nürburgring. But it did well. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm excited for it. I'm a Porsche guy.
Right.
And that's...
Are you going to get one? If you had the chance to buy it, would you buy it?
They're impossible to get. Because you cannot get an allocation.
I tried. I literally tried. For online, I did I spec'd one out, did all that stuff. And then I got a phone call from a Porsche dealership. I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna get a Porsche. I'm gonna get a Porsche. She's like, sorry, Marlon, we're not able to help you out. You have to be more exclusive, and we already sold them.
Maybe you can get a Cayenne.
Maybe you can start there. You gotta start somewhere, baby.
Yeah. You know what? I gotta start somewhere.
But you know what?
I was so sad.
I mean, it is crazy, and I might be even wrong on how many each dealer's receiving. I think it might be 1.
Most of them, when I talked to it was like...
But it is a mass-produced car. It's a production vehicle.
North Toronto...
Is it production?
That's a good question. It's going to be getting like 4 or 5 cars.
Right.
Yeah. And then there's one new dealership in Ontario.
That's coming up. It's Polycaro is...
So and they probably have all locations already on.
They're already gone. I have a family friend who's in the market for one. Mm-hmm. He has a couple of Lamborghinis. He's had some.
He has some good toys.
Stuff. Yeah, he has toys, but he has no Porsches, and that's basically it, man. It's kind of your resume, right?
But why?
When you get into these RS cars, you need to own the 4
But why is Porsche going in this direction of Ferrari? Like it was like they want to when Porsche dropped, what car was it? The GT2 RS, I think it was GT2 RS or the new generation. The 991s. .2. I can't remember what it was, but they dropped out. They dropped one of these cars. They dropped one of those two cars to stop people flipping these cars.
Right.
I think it was a GT3 RS. I think they made a mass production of GT3 RS.
Right.
And they were given because.
Are you talking about the 911R thing? Where 911R was offered with a manual, and then they're like, you know what?
Yes, it started with the 911R.
Right?
Yes, it started with 911R, and then afterwards the GT2
They
RS.
offered it in a manual.
They offered it in a manual,
Yeah.
and they're because it's just people that are like trying to
control the market a little bit.
Control the marketing, go crazy on it.
I don't know if that's it. I think Porsche is kind of happy with the space that they're in right now.
Of course.
And I think people who are purchasing these cars, because remember, when it comes to Ferrari, every exclusive Ferrari that's sold, you're basically an ambassador for the brand, right?
Yes.
That's why people get their allocations taken away depending on their online persona,
Right.
Yeah.
right? People get their allocations taken away because Ferrari doesn't want you to represent them,
Yeah.
right?
Justin Bieber with his
That's-
Ferrari wide body.
Wide-
Right,
Yeah.
the Liberty Walk
Yeah.
that he did, right? So we see this occurring. Now Porsche isn't that extreme, but I think they're in a good place. They want good collectors to purchase these RSs. They want them taken care of. I don't know.
I want to ask you guys a question.
Are we hitting the second segment? This is my favorite segment. Is that what we're doing? Are we doing it now? Are we doing it?
Yeah.
Guys,
Is it?
this is the end of our podcast, and for the last 2 minutes, we're gonna play What Is It? And I'll pull up the spectrum right here. This right here is the chart, and what we're gonna do is we're each gonna throw out a car. We're gonna let the other two, or all three of us, discuss whether it's a sports car, a supercar, a hypercar,
Or
a mega car, or a
Piece of shit car.
or none of the above. I don't know. That's not even on the scale.
What's the standards for a category? So everyone can understand.
I mean, dude,
talking about money, performance.
I think that's entirely
engine.
what you think of each category.
Okay.
That's
right?
like a,
So
yeah.
what defines for you a hypercar? That's kind of what it is, and I want you guys to get involved and let us know what you think. Which one of these sits where on the scale? And we'll have the scale pulled up here. So should I start the party?
Yeah. So
What's your favorite thing?
Yeah. So sports
we got,
cars on this end and mega car on this
There's
end.
over here, yeah. So and I'm gonna tell you what it is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with a McLaren Senna, and I'm gonna call it entry-level hypercar.
Yes, I would totally.
So we
agree.
can't do that. We can't say entry level.
Well,
There's a
scale.
no, but there's a scale.
You put it in the
Because
middle. It's like an
there's a
entry,
scale.
yeah.
Because okay.
So if the hypercar is here and then your
What if you get a
supercar is
Mer-
here, where are you putting it?
Right in the middle.
Right in the middle?
It's
Okay,
gonna be
hold
red,
on.
green, yellow. Like it's,
McLaren F1. That's a hypercar, bro. But that's a crazy $20-40 million investment.
Right.
So you got the entry level. I think
So
you're
now is
correct.
that an entry level mega car?
I think the entry level.
Stop
no,
it.
it's not a mega car.
Stop it, bro.
No,
We're
it's
gonna
not a
get, this is
mega
gonna
car.
take
It's not a
forever.
mega car. It's not a mega car.
So what makes a mega car a mega car?
No, hold on. We're not doing that.
We're
We're
not-
gonna
do that next
discuss. We're
episode.
gonna discuss. So,
But I 100% I
it's
agree
an
with you.
entry level. It's a very low end of the chart.
It is.
But it is entry level
I
hypercar.
was being the bad guy.
Is that it? That was easy. What do you
Yeah.
got?
Ferrari SF90.
Supercar.
Yeah, high-end supercar.
High-end supercar?
Yeah.
Would it
But
get
a
to
high-end
hypercar?
supercar puts it into a hypercar.
No, but it's not like it's
But
almost
man,
there.
it's $1 million car.
Yeah,
got
but-
1,000
but
horsepower.
the
$1
thing
million means nothing now.
Yeah.
$1 million is
$1
like
million
$600K.
is everything. Like there's so many cars. So there's Lambos.
1,000
Yeah,
horsepower. What do you have to say
It's a
about that?
baby LaFerrari.
So I don't know, 1,000 horsepower. That again,
I
depends
don't
on
think
the qualifications of
1,000
what type of car it is.
horsepower. It's $1 million car. It's not really. It's a regular entry level hypercar, but not really. It's just I would say it's a supercar.
I think you're
because
right.
It's just there's so many of them on the road.
I feel like you get that car and then you're working your way towards getting a hypercar.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's $1 million. Yeah, it's 1,000 horsepower. But at the end of the day, I agree. I don't think it's a hypercar yet. I mean, it's nowhere near a LaFerrari.
Sorry. I mean, the competitors haven't pulled anything out, have they? To go up against it. Right?
SF90?
Lamborghini has nothing.
No.
McLaren really has nothing that's like. Their Arturo was a flop.
Yeah.
Right? So if you think about electric, so this is the first, I would say, like supercar step
But
to
then
the
I mean,
future.
the
But we
Sion,
have.
the Sion had an electric assist to it. It had the capacitors.
It has the capacitors, but it's
But it
shy
wasn't-
of 1,000 horsepower. It's about 850, right?
But that was also a limited, like a special car.
I would love to see how those two go up against each
The
other.
Sion and
The Sion and that
SF90.
thing. But I mean, the single plate clutch is probably the biggest failure they
Right.
had. I mean, that's probably where.
I mean, that's a different conversation. On
But yeah, so I think I totally agree with you.
Okay.
I disagree on the hyper part. I don't think it's even
No.
close to a hyper.
Supercar.
I think it's a supercar, like just
It's a premium, it's a higher level supercar.
It's not regular basic doors.
Lamborghini Aventador.
It's got the basic doors, remember?
Yeah, that's it. There you go.
The poor man's
So
doors.
does a Bugatti. Anyway, and what's yours?
Well, I hope you guys are not going to be upset with me and get rude with me.
I know what he's saying. I know what he's going to say.
I'm pro America.
Pro America.
So I'm talking about the Ford GT, the new one.
Nice.
Heck yeah.
Nice. Of course.
I honestly, I think that car. I just want to bring out a few points before I review what it is.
Right.
Flagship vehicle for Ford.
Flagship.
Racing history. Obviously, there were previous generations of it.
Of course.
Okay.
It's $1 million.
Doesn't matter. Like you said, anything.
When the car first came out, you had to be somebody, and they're looking towards online social media presence to get that car.
Right.
So, you guys are ready for it?
Right.
Hypercar.
Bullshit.
Nope. Listen.
See, that's what.
So there's a thing.
Isn't even a supercar.
There's another skill. It's called BS. We're gonna drop it in.
So you guys are.
But listen. Hold on. So Shaw's bringing this up because we last year we had this argument breakout, and we told ourselves that we would never bring this up again because it was like 2 hours, 3 hours. We went at it, bro. My throat was dry. Like we were literally yelling at each other because everybody. Yeah, it was a complete shit show. But he did it, and he opened it up again. I'm gonna go with supercar. I thought it was a hypercar. I fought for it last time we talked.
No, you did.
I said that it is a hypercar. It's got the doors. It's got the looks. 1,500 of them made, which is not that bad. I think they're still pretty rare.
Good production,
yeah, good
right?
production. I mean, it's not.
Majority of them probably staying in North America and
not
really,
really,
of the world.
but not a hyper level production because those are under 100 or under 500.
But
usually,
that car is actually made in Toronto, Markham, Ontario.
Yeah,
it's not made by Ford to say it's under their supervision.
Right.
So
Ford Performance and Multimatics worked on this project.
But the thing, wouldn't you consider that thing? It's not like
that's a partnership, not a hypercar.
But no, but I'm saying it's not at the factory though. It's not at the Ford factory. It's built by these men and women.
I know.
They're putting these parts together to produce this hypercar.
But dude,
this V6 hypercar.
Okay, there you go. You're asking your question. V6.
In my opinion, yeah, there you go. In my opinion, I think like obviously as we move forward into the electric world where electric assist is going to be more norm in these super and hypercars, I think up until then, supercars and hypercars, your kind of cylinder count is king, right? So the amount of cylinders you have kind of gives you that, you know.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, kind of gives you that.
We love our V10s.
And I found out late in the game that the Ford GT was a six-pop.
V6 with EcoBoost.
V6 EcoBoost motor, and
Like
honestly,
Marlon's pickup truck.
it was a super turnoff. I love the car. I think I said it in the past. I said it was one of the most beautiful side profiles that we've seen. It's very
also the top
very aerodynamic. Yeah,
top profile is beautiful.
It's got the looks.
It's got the looks of
It's got the doors.
And the limited,
it's got the doors.
1,500 over 4 years, if I'm not mistaken.
16.
It's got the custom exhaust by Akrapovic.
6 years, yeah.
Custom exhaust by
It's a
Akrapovic.
collaboration. So a lot of cool Brembo brakes, carbon wheels.
You guys just name off wow fast. You guys are slowly getting to the hyper side of the way.
We're slowly getting into the maybe not a piece of shit car category.
I dropped, and this is nothing against Ford owners. Obviously, it's just a personal opinion. Going back to horsepower, it's only 660 horsepower, right? It's 660 horsepower, dude. Like that's not a lot. I've been in Ford GTs and driven Ford GTs, and we were chasing. We were with Triple F, and we were chasing their P1, and they had the LaFerrari in front of us. I was in the Ford GT, the Golf Edition, behind them. And we had a hard time. Like, these guys were just leaving us like nothing. I think I posted a video.
I still remember you guys ripping it. All I see was a cloud of smoke.
Just a cloud of smoke from the EcoBoost.
V6 EcoBoost.
Yeah, man.
You know,
it's just cleaning itself, guys.
Yeah.
Don't worry, it's a Ford thing.
So I think it is a supercar. I'm sad that it's a supercar. I want it to be a hypercar. But I think its biggest downfall is probably that engine, probably the horsepower. You know, I mean, the track condition, 800 horsepower is what the Ford GT should have been.
Could it be
the Mach 4 that's coming out in 2023 should have been the horsepower.
Could it be it's a small area for them? Because the car is pretty.
I mean,
it's
that
like
engine bay is very tiny.
When you get close up, it's like there's not too much to the car.
It's super snug, man.
Like it feels like that is. It's like. Was there no room to? I 100% imagine. I know Ford. I love Ford. I'm a Ford dick forever. They probably do have a V8 production, like a V8 prototype car, somewhere in their factory or somewhere in their areas.
So I mean, I'll drop the link for this above. But last week we dropped a video, or 2 weeks ago, on the Ford GT, and I mentioned this there, where Jamal Hamidi, who's the performance Ford Performance chief engineer, right? He basically told Top Gear that engine was their second priority. It was all design oriented. They wanted to go for aerodynamics this time, and that's what they did. And then whatever fit that teardrop in the middle is what they went with, which was that 6-pot.
Okay.
Right? So it wasn't, I'm sure if it was a different design, they could have kind of integrated a larger engine.
I know for a fact they did a mule with a V8 or something, or try to put the V10 Titan in it.
I hope so, man. It could be, but
I mean, they can make powerful cars. We see with the GT500, right?
Yeah,
they can make powerful cars.
Yeah.
I guess you're right. Maybe they Ford GT was meant to be something different.
Is there another Ford GT coming out? Is there going to be another? That's it for now.
I mean, they're redesigning it. This new one that they're creating.
So the MK4 is they're making about 67 of them.
Truck only,
yeah. So, but wicked thing, they went with the long tail look. So imagine longer Ford GT, wider Ford GT. Those buttresses are coming out more. Like,
yes, that would be right.
You like it thick, right?
Like raw and.
Attaboy.
But yeah, I mean, this thing is dragged on way too long.
So join us though. Next time. Next podcast, we're actually going to talk about what makes a supercar a supercar, what makes a hypercar a hypercar. $1 million, 1,000 horsepower.
We'll bring it down for you guys, and we'll give a few selections.
And then the weird area of what makes a mega car.
Right.
And where does some of the other cars, like an Enzo and an F1, and some of
that's
those
the type
other
of thing.
cars,
I think there will be a category.
Let's give a little sample.
Let's give a little
sample there.
You know,
like the what's it called Porsche Carrera GT. Like, where does that stand on that list? There's so many categories that takes off to.
It's a hyper, man.
But it's a legendary hypercar.
It is a legendary. Yeah, I think it's up there. I mean, it's taking lives, for God's sake. Like, this thing is just raw as hell.
Yeah, we're not going to use that as justification.
I'm not. But I'm saying like, it is.
It's a scary car. If you don't know how to
V10,
drive that car properly, it will kill you. It will.
Yeah, and Jeremy Clarkson said it. It's like it's one of those cars that is constantly testing you. You can't sleep.
Yeah.
You can't look the other way.
Not gonna lie. For a second. Not gonna lie. When we went to New Jersey to go chill with Sean and take out the Bella Mirage GT,
right.
I was scared. I was scared shitless. I was like, I don't want to.
You guys can't tell you something? So Sean came back and took them for a ride, and then he came in and he took it to your turn, and I rejected the ride.
Because he was thinking of his kids.
Because he was tired, he had to go home.
But the thing is, like, Sean actually knows how to drive that car.
Yeah, I've seen him.
Yeah,
he knows
he's
how to
gone through like 30 Carrera GTs.
Yes, which is insane. He's so constant.
Had to walk in the park from.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think I also want you guys to drop some cars in the comments that you want us to discuss for next month, because we'll be making this more regularly, and then we'll see you in February for the podcast.
All right, guys, thank you for joining us on our very first podcast. It was pretty exciting to hear what you had to say, what Abdullah had to say, Mr. Porsche guy, sophisticated guy, whatever you want to call yourself.
It's the glasses.
No glasses.
Take the glasses. Oh yeah, no glasses next time. Laser surgery only.
But yeah, guys, we look forward to doing more podcasts with you. Let us know in the comments what you guys want us to talk about. There's a lot of things to cover, and we hope to hit some of the favorites that you guys want to talk about as well.
Of course.
But we're going to be doing this monthly. So, again, let us know what you guys think in the comments. I hope you guys had fun watching us talk about some of these cars.
I had fun.
And make sure you guys like, subscribe, share. There's a bell somewhere around here. Make sure you guys click the bell so you know when we post. And that's it. We'll see you guys next month.
Peace.